Hello, good afternoon, guys. Thank you very much for watching Legal Lounge with Adil Farooq. Adil Farooq is with you with a new topic on the real estate transactions, and today's topic is a very interesting topic, and most of our clients even don't know about this issue, which may have a bad impact on the property even after the closing. So first of all, as a standard disclaimer, this session is for information purposes only. So if you have any concern or any question about these kind of issues, always talk to your real estate lawyer or any legal professional who can help you to understand the consequences of this thing which I'm going to discuss with you. Today's topic is relating to the liens on a real estate property. So liens, there are different kind of liens on the real estate property, and sometimes we also give a mortgage, a loan, or notice of security interest as a lien on the property. And when there's a lien on the property, it is always advisable, and it's always required by the lawyer to deal with those liens before they complete the transaction. So I will talk from the buyer's perspective and then the seller's perspective. From the buyer's perspective, when we are buying a property, for our buyer clients, this is our responsibility as a lawyer to see that what are the existing liens registered on the property, and those kind of different liens that I mentioned, that one of the very common lien is a notice of security interest. If you notice that many of the home buyers, when they try to change their furnace or air conditioning system, they don't have enough funds to pay that upfront, so they took a loan from the company who installed those kind of things on the house. Maybe they installed the home air conditioning system, or maybe they installed the furnace, or sometimes they have the new hot water tank. And many companies used to register a lien on the property in order to protect their interest. So we, being a buyer lawyer, if we saw that there are such kind of liens, so we requested the seller's lawyer to remove those liens on the property. And likewise, the other it's not I will give a name as a mortgage. So if there is a mortgage on the property on which we are buying, so this is also our responsibility to make sure that mortgage will be paid off by the seller's lawyer, and they will provide us a discharge after closing. If the mortgage is a private mortgage, they have to provide us a discharge on the same day or before even closing. But if this is a private mortgage, we work with the personal undertakings. So personal undertaking of the lawyer is enough for us to close the deal, and the seller lawyer always pay the mortgage to the other to the lender, and they provide a discharge of that mortgage accordingly, which usually take a couple of weeks or sometimes a couple of months to get a final discharge of this mortgage. So from the seller's perspective, it is interesting actually. From the seller's perspective, the one of the liens, which is notice of security interest, that lien have a different impact on the properties from the seller's point of view. Few months ago, the government of Ontario has passed a rulings that all the liens by different companies who installed any kind of chattel on the house, which may be hot water tank or air conditioning system or furnace, these provide the companies who own those chattels on the house, they are not allowed to register any liens. If they have some fixtures or chattels and they have already registered the lien on the house, they are not allowed to register that lien anymore. And we, being a seller lawyer, can remove those liens even without taking a permission from the lien holders, if that liens are only to secure their fixtures which they have installed on the property. And that's why usually when we close the deal, we request them to delete those liens, even though the buyer is assuming those liens, those chattels, and the property should be clean and that liens should be removed. And from the for the mortgage purposes, yes, the seller's lawyer, being a seller's lawyer, this is our responsibility that once we receive the money from the buyer's lawyer, we have to pay the existing mortgage on the property. And if there's a private mortgage or this institutional mortgage or any kind of mortgage registered on the property, this is our responsibility to pay those liens, those mortgages. And sometimes with the mortgage, the lender also registered a notice of assignment of rents. So it's also a responsibility, being a seller lawyer, to make sure that the lender also remove that notice of security, notice of assignment of rents on the property. There is also another kind of lien which is very common, that is from CRA. If the seller failed to pay any outstanding taxes to the CRA for a certain period of time, the CRA has the right to register a lien on the property. And if that's happened, then again, as a seller's lawyer, this is our responsibility to contact the CRA or ask the client to contact the CRA. Then CRA provide us a payout statement, so we pay that amount to CRA, whatever the outstanding amount, and CRA allow us to delete that notice, or they themselves delete that notice of lien, and they provide us the proof. There is another kind of lien which is about the property taxes. If you are behind on property taxes, the city can register a lien, but this is very rare kind of lien. But I saw those liens on the properties, and in that case, again, we cannot sell the property without paying off that lien to the city that is towards the outstanding property taxes. So these are general kind of liens. And if you are an owner of a condominium corporation, also remember the condominium corporation, you have to pay a common expenses to condominium corporation every month. And if for some reason you fail to pay their common expenses for few months, they always send a notice to the owner that pay the expenses, otherwise they will register a lien on your property. And if you fail to pay the common expenses, they register a lien on your property. And again, before we finalize the closing date of closing, and if we finalize the closing, we have to make sure that we, being seller's lawyer, pay off that money to the condominium corporation and remove that lien from the property. So these kind of liens are very general kind of liens. There may be any other kind of liens as well on the property, which is very rare, but these are the general liens which are on the property. So that's the lawyer's responsibility, that the lawyer, seller lawyer and buyer lawyer coordinate with each other, and then they deal with those liens at the time of the closing. And being a seller, that's your responsibility to pay off those liens on the property and give and transfer the property clear of all the liens. And as a buyer, this is your right to get the property clear of all outstanding liens on the property. So I hope you have some kind of basic knowledge about those liens on the property, and you can ask your lawyer when you are dealing with a real estate lawyer that what's happening with those liens, if there are any liens on the property. And if you have any further comments or anything else in your mind about those liens, you can always message us or send us a quick email, and we will try to respond back at our convenience. Thank you very much for watching Legal Launch with Adil Farooq. Hopefully see you next week, same time, with a brand new topic which you may have interest in that topic. Until then, take care of yourself, and bye bye.